Armenian women in tech lead on their own terms. Article by Sona Gevorgyan. Published on February 17, 2026 on EVN Report. In Armenia's tech ecosystem, women are no longer waiting for permission or representation to be at the table. As founders and CEOs, they are establishing startups, shaping workplace culture, and modeling forms of leadership rooted in intention. They are doing this while representing just 19% of the country's tech founders and CEOs. Their visibility matters because it expands what ambition and success can look like in a field traditionally defined by male norms. Yet this shift is still fragile. For every woman leading a tech company, there are many more whose paths feel unsupported or hard to imagine, precisely because role models remain scarce. This is why founders like Marina Agayan and Irina Gazarian stand out. With startups that are now well known in Armenia's tech ecosystem, they are not only growing businesses, they are navigating leadership, culture, and motherhood in an ecosystem that was never designed with them in mind, and in the process, quietly reshaping it. Irina Gazarian, co-founder and CEO of Dr. Yan, an application for booking medical services online, begins her days early. She enjoys arriving at the office before anyone else, avoiding traffic and starting the day quietly. Gazarian founded her company when her son was 3. He's 7 now. At the time, she was working full-time at another company and had no experience running a business. "I was learning how to raise a human and a company at the same time," she recalls. "Whenever I hear a founder say a startup is your child, I can definitely say it's not. If you have a child, you know they are two very different things. A startup can be changed, criticized, and reshaped without harm," she explains. "With your child, you are a lot more protective." She also notes that founders, both women and men, with families, are often viewed as less desirable by investors. They prefer founders who don't have family, who don't have children, she says. If you have a child, it's much harder to go all in financially, with time and resources. Parents, she adds, simply cannot absorb the same level of risk. You cannot spend your very last dollar on your startup if you have a family. She points to what she calls the ideal founder profile. Many investors still unconsciously favor a 26 or 27-year-old man with corporate experience, a prestigious degree, and no family responsibilities. Gazarian's company was one of just 2 selected from 70 applicants in Armenia to represent the country at the United Nations Women Expo Capital Quest, where she was named a finalist. Yet even in that high-profile setting, she noticed a familiar pattern. Conversations among women founders quickly turned to childcare logistics, a topic rarely raised in male-dominated startup spaces. The first question was, "Where is your child now?" she recalls. The realities of balancing entrepreneurship and motherhood were visible even on stage. One, her friends delivered her pitch 8 months pregnant. These experiences are not isolated. Marina Agayan, CEO and co-founder of AIP Tech, a company specializing in high-precision 3D printing of medical implants, shares insights from her own journey as a woman founder and leader. The real difficulty, she says, emerges at home. Women are more family-oriented, Agayan says. You can't stay late at work. It doesn't matter how important it is. With young children, plans can change suddenly due to illness or caregiving needs, something that is not always understood in professional settings. "A lot of people can't understand why you canceled the meeting or postponed it," she adds, underscoring the challenge. Agayan says women entrepreneurs face similar situations around the world. Such challenges are not unique to Armenia. In the United Arab Emirates, she recalls, meeting participants asked to speak to the CEO, not realizing they already were. "They were amazed that a woman could do it," she says. It was not an isolated moment. In other countries, too, she has faced disbelief or inappropriate remarks. Over time, she learned to redirect such conversations and focus on delivering her message. "Fortunately, I could show that I am here not as a woman or a man," she says. "I am the CEO." AIP Tech is not Agayan's first company. She previously founded a startup in Estonia, where she became aware of unspoken assumptions about women's time and availability in professional settings. "Men assume you don't have time, that you are a woman and you should go home after 6, she says. For Agayan and Gazarian, leadership does not displace motherhood. it reshapes how it is practiced. My children are my priority, Agayan says. Whether it's a business meeting or homework, I will always choose my kids. This is my biggest investment. Ghazarian credits her parents with helping her maintain a balance between family life and building her startup. Without a support system I cannot imagine, she says, noting that her father, in particular, encouraged her not to give up, to keep working and creating. Looking at Armenia's ecosystem, Agayan says many limitations stem from family structures and women's ability to protect their rights. If a woman has limitations, if she can't protect her rights, she will not be successful in any area, she adds. As a mother of 2 sons, she says it's important they see her as strong and fulfilled. They should see that I have the right to be happy, she explains. So in the future, they will understand that their wives have the right to be happy. For Agayan, education is not about fulfilling expected roles, but about expanding agency. If a nation wants a future, women must be well educated, she says, not as a matter of obligation, but because education equips women to make decisions, set boundaries, and participate fully in economic and public life. Knowledge, in this sense, is protection against systems that quietly limit women's choices. Her words bring to mind Gazahros Agayan's Anahit, a well-known Armenian folktale. In the story, a clever young woman insists that a prince learn a trade before she agrees to marry him, valuing skill and self-sufficiency over inherited status. Reflecting on it now, the lesson feels less romantic than practical. Real security comes from knowing how to stand on your own when circumstances change. That same emphasis on learning and self-reliance shapes how Agayan leads her own company. She actively mentors women employees and pushes them toward independence. I tell them that in the future, you should have your own company, she says. It's good for me too. In the future, we can collaborate. As a university lecturer, Ghazarian has seen firsthand how belief can spark innovation. Despite initial skepticism, her students went on to develop 18 startups, some with ideas she hopes will reach the market. That's what inspires them, she says, knowing someone would actually be interested. She argues that the scarcity of visible women founders carries real consequences. When few women are seen at the top, fewer are funded. Visibility influences perception, and perception shapes investment decisions. Telling these stories matters, she says, but attention must extend beyond conference panels and symbolic representation. Listening to Agayan and Ghazarian, it becomes clear that doubt is not an isolated hurdle, but a recurring condition, one that women must learn to anticipate and outmaneuver. Preparation, skill, and persistence become not just virtues, but strategy.